Felix, you must be thirsty. What's up, everybody, and welcome. We're actually headed to Loggerhead here. I gotta fill up Felix here because like 20 miles to go till it was empty. I took a little road trip yesterday, but it wasn't anything special, just putting some seagrass in a boat. So right now we gotta go check the usual kind of problems that I run into is battery, stereo don't work, stuff like that on a Sea Ray. So I'll just meet you over at Loggerhead. Alright, so we made it to Loggerhead here, and I actually got to run inside and tell them to get the boat down. It takes a little bit of time, so it looks like they're shuttling boats already here. So while I do that, let's actually go back in time to younger, better looking me here, because remember that 380 Boston Whaler that we had a problem with electrical issue? Well, I figured it out, and unfortunately it was something that somebody made a mistake, but let's just cut to it and you'll see what happened. Well, thank you, future me. And sorry for the noise again. They're definitely building that house up now. We're gonna have nail guns and saws and everything else going. But we found wire number 165, and I know what happened now. This is actually our fault. Somebody at the marina didn't do their job right. I'll have to find out who that was, but people make mistakes. I get it. But look right here, 175. Look, this is loose. We were looking for 165, and you have to take this panel off to get to these. So it was basically buried in here. You couldn't even see it. But here's 165. We're gonna tighten this down and everything should come back. So let's see what happens. All right, we are tightened back down, and I checked all the other ones to make sure they weren't loose. Everything is good. And so what happened is we got power steering pumps, and you have to change the way that you run your power and ground basically to these new pumps. So they had to take them off of this ground and they added them to the battery ground where they're supposed to be now, and they never tightened this back down when they were done. So that's what happened. Surprising things get through like that, but let's go check the dash switches real quick. Our batteries, all 17 of them. We don't even have to wait for this stuff to warm up. We should be able to just push buttons. Look at that. We're back alive. Well, good. I'm glad I figured out what it was, and I'm glad that Boston Whaler finally got back to me to tell me where that wire was leading to. And once we took that little square piece apart, you can find all of our grounds are down there. So what I have to do is put everything back together here, because I left the bathroom apart just so I could, in case I need to get back in there and check some things. We found something wrong, but looks like everything's good. So I'm going to double check all the systems one more time here, double check all my grounds on the batteries and the power and everything, just to make sure nothing else is left loose, and should be in business. Customer can use his boat again here, so should be happy. Anyway, back to you, future me. Well, thanks, past me. I'm just glad we figured it out. All right, look, right around the corner, I just put our Sea Ray down. We have a battery tester and our meter here. But there she is. Oh, it's an inboard boat. I didn't realize that. Well, let me open her up here because it's got the cover on it. We'll get it opened, and we're just checking the battery. And the stereo, I guess, doesn't work, so we'll check that. And should be pretty simple, hopefully. All right, we're all opened up here, but I'm gonna leave this covers on and everything closed because it's really windy out. It's making a lot of noise out there. But we have 6.2s. They're 350 horse 6.2. I think they're 377 cubic inch motors. Good old Chevy. All right, let me jump down the hole. We got batteries everywhere, of course. What do we got here? There's a battery for something. Not sure what. We have, oh, it's got two trim and tilts because it's got a swim platform, so they're using one of these as a swim platform up or down. And you got probably two more over here. Yep, so you got two actuators, one on each side of the swim platform, and the other pump is for your trim and tilt. You can see, let me zoom in here. We got a blower there. Our safety hub, this all fuses, the VSRs, voltage switching relays. There's fuses everywhere in here. Even that little guy is a computer for our blower system in the builds here. Let's see if I can get my foot down here. Not a lot of room with the motors in here. We have two batteries here. This one's connected to it also, so those three are the house, I'm sure. That right there, I'm going to say, is the port battery. And then if we replace this one, let me back out. This is our starboard battery, so I'm just going to load check basically that battery right there. We could do this, but I'd have to unhook all these. He's got no complaint about that. I'm not sure what this battery's for. See if we can follow the lead here. Goes down, Now that's our bow thruster battery. That's a good idea, have an independent battery. That thing's probably just getting charged for the VSR, so it's not really doing anything until it needs juice. Clever. Alright, let me see if I can step back up. Let me grab my tester. Alright, so right away we're only at 11.27 volts. I can't do anything about charging this battery here. Let's just see what it says when it's going to say charge me. No. 31 cranking amps. That's funny. Recharge and retest. Okay. So it's very possible that that battery is bad. What I'm going to have to do is just remove it so I can take it with me, and we'll charge it overnight, see if it comes back, and I can put it back in here. We're not too far from the shop, luckily. Let's just see what a good battery does here. Let's test our new one just to make sure, since that's the other motor. You can see already, this one's basically fully charged. I know, you made me get out of the bilge. Sorry. Annoying VHF radio alarm. It'll do that forever unless you put in your Coast Guard numbers. Alright, let me get my foot back down here. So, we have a good battery here, it looks like. Let's just test it, see what it says. Testing. Yeah, good pass. So now, I know I have to get that battery out. I also have a problem with the stereo not working, so let's go check that out. We have a Fusion. Just power it up, see what it does. Nothing. Let me get under the dash here. We're going to check power straight to it before I do anything else. Alright, so we just have this little panel here. Up underneath, here's our Fusion radio right here. Here's our power wire, so let's unclip this. We'll check and see what we got here. Got our meter. I also noticed I just did something different here, because it's got tiny little out or inlets here for our wiring. It's only about a 1 foot run here until you get to C-Rays wiring, and this is actually where they're getting their power and ground from the C-Ray harness basically, and they just connect it to our little Fusion lead here. So let's check it right at the source. Alright, we got one hand trying to hold this together here. Sorry for the forklift noise, but we're on the power and ground here. If you look here, we got nothing. So we got to figure out where it's getting power from. Alright, let's look on top of the dash. There's fuses up here sometimes. There's a couple fuse panels. I do not see stereo on either one of these. So let's go look in the cabin. This being a bigger C-Ray, they're going to have a DC and an AC panel over here on the starboard side. That's where our keys are at. What we got here, it's kind of dark in here, sorry. Cabin lights. Didn't help me any. Gonna turn them on. I wonder if this controls all of our stereo system and everything, since it's got an amp and everything built into it. Oh, look at that. I didn't realize they wired it to a switch. I wonder if he knows that that has to be on. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's working. I'm gonna make a phone call and make sure that he had it on and it wasn't just turning on and off or whatever, because could have a bad stereo. I've seen a few of these go bad, so I'll make that phone call later here before we leave. Alright, let me put that back together here. We'll grab this battery out of here, get this thing closed down, and over there's a little dealership that sells a couple different kind of boats. I'm not sure exactly, Scouts maybe, something like that. So we'll go check out a few new boats before we call it. Alright, our C-Ray's all packed up and ready to go back in the barn. Just noticed something. Freedom Boat Club. This boat club right here is actually owned by Brunswick. It's a big giant club, they're everywhere. See them all over at the marinas. What we got over here? It's a big Freeman. Some low tide happening too. It'll be quite the jump to get on there. Nice. C-Ray. Nice. Tierra. Nice. What we got here? Oh, cruiser yacht. It's a nice one too. But we have to venture all the way back there, so let's go. Let's check out that yellowfin. Not the one they're picking up, but the one next to it. That's a beast. Not a whole lot on the docks here because it's windy and cold. I can feel the temperature dropping. Let's get back. We're gonna take our little secret route past the bushes and come around. And look what we got coming in here. A C-Ray. And 2 of the 3 motors are working. We got one trimmed all the way up for some reason. And look what we got here. The Beastly Scout. Got 600s on it. Pretty cool. Alright, this is what I wanted to see right here. Scout, so I was right with one of them. Chris Craft Manitou. It doesn't look like they carry much big stuff in this area. They don't really have room for it. It's all stuffed back here. These are all little baby Scouts. We'll look at the front of the row here. The two boats that are covered up are the ones I want to see. The Chris Crafts. I like those boats. So let's just jump on the fender here. We'll take a look at the Scout. Haven't seen a Scout in a while. This is brand new, so pretty nice. I always like the brown colors they do on everything, like the tan and single engine Merc. Got a Garmin on it. Yeah, simple, well laid out. It's all your other cushions. It's a cool little bay boat. So what is this model? It's a 240 it says? Yeah. I've seen something interesting. Look at this. Seakeeper is making their own trim tabs. That's interesting. Those must just go down and grab the water like a cup to angle the boat. Every time it grabs, they probably react really, really well. Oh, I just noticed something too. This is a sea deck, but it looks like wood. That's pretty cool. Looks like you got a spot for a ski pole. Yeah, so you could probably set this thing up pretty well with whatever you wanted. Fishing, skiing, bombing around the bay. Well, alright, that's it for this one. Actually, gotta get back to the shop, get that battery charged here. And you see these boats, the Scouts are pretty cool. I like the Chris Crafts. They're also nice boats. But as always, I appreciate everybody watching. And we'll see you next time. Later. Felix, you think we can jump this ramp?